though sometimes remaining loyal to what matters most to us does not keep us in one place. Sometimes that loyalty is going to take us to new and strange locations. Many of you know that I'm a great fan of superhero comic books. And every so often, something happens in one of the major titles that momentarily catches the attention of the American media. And last month, we had one of those events. It was announced that Superman, the strange visitor from another planet who has devoted his amazing alien powers to truth, justice, and the American way for over 60 years now, this is possibly the most famous superhero in the world, has announced that Superman is renouncing his U.S. citizenship. Of course, this has sent a certain media and political figures into a state of apoplexy. The actions of this fictional character have been decried as unpatriotic and anti-American. How dare he give up his U.S. citizenship in a comic book that is written for school children? But if you actually read the comic book and read the story that its artist and writer are trying to tell with colored ink on a page, Superman explains very clearly why he's doing what he's doing. He's actually making this change because of his patriotism. He explains that his values, his commitment to justice and to the right of all people to be free, requires him to do whatever he can to prevent tyranny and oppression. And that will sometimes mean foiling the schemes of tyrants and despots, as well as supervillains and crazed alien menaces. When he does that, when he intercedes in some foreign country in the interest of human freedom, he doesn't want his own native land to be held accountable for that. He wants to do so as a free citizen. And so he has renounced formally his U.S. citizenship. But it is his entirely American ideals, those taught to him by his entirely American parents, that have demanded of him that he make that change. It is an ancient and recurring story, rendered in colored ink on a page, and one that has been at the heart of Unitarian Universalism for generations. To best be the faith that our ideals demand we be, our movement must perpetually re-examine its assumptions and let go of anything that stands in the way, no matter how long held or precious. Once upon a time, both Unitarianism and Universalism were entirely Christian faiths, and we still have a lot of Christians within our ranks, and I am glad of their presence among us. But we have, over time, recognized that there is more truth than only the Christian story, and that people who do not identify as Christians can still practice love towards their neighbor, can still live lives of justice and peace, and should still be welcomed in our sanctuaries. And so we have grown to be something different. We have drawn the circle just a little bit wider. And we continue to do this time and time again. Each moment that we find that there is someone standing outside that line, we are called not necessarily to move them in, but to move the line. In his speech to the divinity students of Manchester College at Oxford in the fall of 1896, Claude Montefiore spoke of the commonalities he observed between his own liberal Judaism and the faith of the Unitarian audience that he was addressing. He affirmed that the seeking, searching spirit need not be viewed as incompatible with persistence and loyalty. That in fact each requires the other if either is to have meaning or purpose at all. As he put it, we are not less fervent believers in the reality of truth because we are more conscious of its infinite complexity. A love which realizes imperfection in the beloved may be more fruitful than a blind affection, which, because it sees no weakness or blemish, can strive for no improvement and tempt no purification. It is not a question whether we will, in our lives, leave things which are familiar and well known to us behind. That much is a sure consequence of living. Likewise, we need to trust in things outside ourselves in order to sustain our being. The tree needs roots, it also needs leaves, or leaves, basically. You know, that the power of prayer to affect the way we think is very, very great. So when we sing together Spirit of Life every Sunday, I get in the habit of pairing roots and leaves together, even though, you know, common parlance, they don't go together. So here are our questions before us. How much courage will we show in our holding and in our letting go? How much wisdom will we find to guide us in choosing between the one and the other? And how much space will we make for both demands, in ourselves and in other people? What are you holding on to that you need to let go of? And what have you let go of that you need desperately to pick up once again? Now, about that table. If you would please take up your hymnals and turn to number 318, not number 318. Number 318.